Hello and welcome to the second matchup of today as we have the men's team taking the floor. The visiting Canadore Panthers are facing off against the hometown Loyalist Lancers. Thank you so much for joining in on the call. My name's Steven Schill alongside John Ostrowski. When we're looking at these two teams, what are we talking record-wise?
Yeah, 5-2, third in the East for the Canadore Panthers, coming all the way from North Bay, about 4 hours north of Belleville, 4.5. And Loyalist Lancers fifth in the East at 4-3. They're going to be looking for home court advantage in that first round of the playoffs, and they're going to start with the ball. It's going to be Poirier de Guzman, first-year player out of Kingston, starting us off.
And it's a high first touch. This gets set back, and the Lancers come up with a huge block there against Sean Malherbe.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch Diefenbach. He had a big game in the split set loss, unfortunately losing 3-2 after a big 2-0 comeback against the undefeated Seneca Sting. Quite arguably the performance of the year so far for these male Lancers.
Going to be popped up to the far side. Be placed it on the first touch, and then a fight at the bottom of the net. But of course, Malherbe there for it. Again, getting stuffed a second ago, but not going to have that happen twice to him.
Yeah, nobody there. Just fell right in front of Sylvester there. And here come the Canadore Panthers. Mason Begg out of Uxbridge getting ready to serve. High serve there.
Yeah, Sylvester on that first touch. It's good. Right down the middle. Westerman. Wow, what a cannon.
And Israel Stam kind of out of position there. Going to fall to the right of him. So it'll be a 2-1 lead quickly for the Loyalist Lancers.
Going to have Liam Hill now back. Those Lancers up just by one. Another spin and serve comes through and going to be a miss.
That's out by a wide margin. That was not the serve he wanted there. It'll be tied at 2 now. The big man, Khalid Bryant, he'll be serving now, number 2 for the Canadore Panthers.
Just tips over the net. Sylvester on that first touch. Poirier de Guzman puts it up the hill. And Bryant tries playing it, but just going to bounce off his chest and out of bounds.
That'll be the Lancers' point there.
Westerman. Just off the net. Diving effort there. And from the back line. Seems like a good option in Sean Malherbe.
Yeah, nobody home there. Tied up at 3.
Malherbe on the serve. Hill on that first touch. Brady Guzman's there on the front line. The big man, Halen Eddles, was putting it back, but Lance is going to get called for an over-the-net violation. 6'8" Malherbe. Hill goes straight back to the side of Canadore. And another over-the-net violation against the Lancers. Thought that was going to go against the Panthers and Halen Eddles, but not going to be the case.
And Malherbe, the big man from Cochrane, Ontario, getting set to serve.
Place it on the first touch. Gets sent back, just tries to shove that in the back. Corset on a touch. Quick little flick from Eddles. And then Diefenbach's there, but the block on the other side from Sedlick.
And Halen Eddles standing at 6'9". Sorry, Halen Eddles standing at 6'9" in the middle there, so pretty intimidating to go up against him.
Spin and serve Sylvester on that first touch. Poirier de Guzman goes up to Diefenbach, who gets some nice height on it. And they try to play it in Eddles, but can't come up with it and get called on the double touch.
6-4 now for the visiting Canadore Panthers. Now Diefenbach probably the MVP yesterday, wouldn't you say so, Steven?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because I noticed that they actually gave the player of the game to the players afterwards in David Sylvester, the libero for Loyalist. And again, that was something we really didn't touch as a huge block comes through from Simon Cannon. And we saw a couple of those yesterday. But back to Sylvester, it was one of those things where I was almost paying too much attention to the offensive side of things. But David Sylvester, pretty much every single serve, was able to play it perfectly and really give the Lancers a chance. Some of those serves from Seneca were just crazy, but Sylvester able to handle pretty much everything with ease. But yeah, Diefenbach having a crazy offensive game yesterday.
Yeah, now he'll get the serve once again, down 1.
Serves over, going to be popped up by Israel Stam, and then getting some nice height is Mallerby, and Loyalist just sends it back over, but not going to drop in play.
That was way out. Tried to make something out of nothing there. So, can't be too upset with that, but probably want something better as number 5, Seidlich, gets set.
Sedlick looks like he's going to go for a spinner serve. Going to be the case. Drops it in. Hill. Brady Guzman sets behind him. It's Diefenbach getting some nice height, finding the open floor.
Yeah, Diefenbach rises up and scores the point with the kill. We'll be seeing a lot of that this afternoon, I think.
And Blakeson now going to be back to serve. For Loyalist going up against his brother yesterday, or at least family member. Don't actually know that for sure, to be honest. But the swing comes through from Perea to Guzman, who's normally the setter, just wide off the mark.
2-point lead now for the Canadore Panthers. And now it's Eddles, like we said, 6'9", his first time of serving.
Place on the first touch. Brady Guzman goes to the floor to put it up. Lancers do get there, but Brian Stair can with another huge block and just ends up going off bag and a little bit of an awkward, I shouldn't even say awkward, just it just lasered up and hit the roof.
Low, yeah, it's the low roof of the Lancer Dome. Sometimes a blessing, sometimes a curse. We'll take it when it's on our side, that's for sure.
Cannon. It's over, bag on the first touch. Corson to the back and getting some mighty height is Mallerby, but just whoops it into the net.
Yeah, I got the height, but didn't get the, I guess, the angle to hit that over.
I think it was more or less just trying to hit it as hard as possible versus trying to find the placement. Cannon. Hey, Corson, so it's back on the close side. Finds the opening in front of Diefenbach.
There you go. Regaining the lead there are the visitors.
Corson, spin and serve. Hill. Over to Brady. Guzman goes for a center dump. Bag is there to handle it. Corson sets a bag and right next to Diefenbach again, just finding that open floor.
2-point lead for the visitors now after that one.
Bag, one of the rookies, cracking the starting lineup for Canadore. But again, Corson wearing this number 9, ready to set. Or excuse me, serve, but also is the setter. It's over. Hill. Brady Guzman back to Diefenbach, trying to answer. But what an initial grab. Corson tries to send it back. Brady Guzman having to play it, and then there's Hill off that side. But again, over the side of the Panthers, that first touch by Ethan Israel Stam was absolutely beautiful, but the Lancers coming away from it.
It was also placed perfectly by Liam Hill there on the kill, and number 10, Brady Guzman, will get the serve now.
It popped up. Corson goes to Bryant. Westerman's there to block, and then on the other side, Hill tries to put a stop to Bag, but going to ricochet off him. Point Canadore.
2-point lead now for the Panthers. Just like the women's version of this one, it's been very hotly contested. Neither team really taking a huge lead.
Mason Bag. Diefenbach. Brady Guzman to Hill. Nose up, blocks there, but doesn't care. Just sends it to the floor.
Yeah, he made it look super easy there. He's having a bit of a coming out party right now. Number 14 Hill.
Well, I think back to Loyalist libero David Sylvester yesterday. Just every single play looked absolutely brilliant on those first touches. Something I think, again, we completely ignore just from how professional he made it look. As Hill goes for that serve, gets it over. Corson gets set on that far side. Lancers do get a touch on it from Mallerby, but now an opportunity. Blaiston, Mallerby and Bryant are there to set the block. Another second effort there, and Blaiston just pushes that off the block of Mallerby, and it's out.
Yeah, that was well out. He got the block twice, but no chance keeping that within the white lines there.
Hill right off the net, pocked up. Going to be from the back line. Bag. Hill's there to answer, but just goes straight off him to the side of Canadore, and just absolutely no way to play it.
Well out there, and will be now a 1-point lead, 12-11 for the visiting Panthers.
Colette Bryant. And everybody seems like they got a spinning serve here, but not too strong on it. Blaiston knows that block's there, puts all of his might behind it. They do get a tip. Now Canadore, close side. Sedlick goes for the tip, but that block for Loyalist sends it back.
Yeah, I thought Colette Bryant would have went for that one, but it looks like a little miscommunication, and that'll lead to the game being tied.
Yeah, not too many crazy rallies per se between these squads, but it feels like this first set is flying by as Westerman goes for it. Corson up to the far side. Mallerby is able to play it a second time. Corson goes short side to Sedlick. And Loyalist comes away again.
There you go. Taking the lead now are the Loyalist Lancers. Back and forth for both these sides. Has the makings of a 5-set match.
Westerman gets it over. Bag on that first touch. Corson goes straight down the middle. And Halen Eddles.
Yeah, the Canadore Panthers have a couple solid wins over Durham, Centennial, George Brown. They've been pretty good all year, and the only 2 losses are against an undefeated Seneca side and I believe Georgians, who's like second or third in their conference.
Over on the back line is Hill. But what a dig from the libero on the Panthers, but Blaiston just putting it down again. Sina Iserl Stam, that number 11 jersey, wearing the black for Panthers, continually having those really, really good first touches.
Yeah, placed it perfectly there.
I think it's something to keep an eye on. Sylvester versus Iserl Stam. As Diefenbach goes for the serve, but can't complete it.
It'll remain tied at 14.
And I definitely think after yesterday, again, not really giving the credit to David Sylvester, trying to pay more attention to the defensive side of things again. These big blocks, first touches, these serves, if you've not been on the court, they hurt, and they are fast.
That was well out. There you go. Loyalist regains the lead. They can't get that serve down. A little too much power.
Blaiston gets it. Iserl Stam. It's affected by the roof.
There you go. That's huge there.
Blaiston. Serves over Bag on that first touch. Corson looks to set Bag again. Lance's block is there, and they put it away. Simon Cannon.
Gets up there. Simon Cannon with a big block now, taking a 3-point lead.
I definitely feel like I didn't notice as much earlier in the season. But Cannon down the middle here, having some huge games as we're going to see the first timeout of the match. Credit the Panthers. Loyalist lead 17-14. Blayson on the serve after the timeout. Gets it over. Wow, what a laser straight back to the side of Loyalist. Canning calls for it, but goes to Hill, and that's a correct call from Perea de Guzman on the set.
Poirier to Guzman. Really good play there. Now Blakeston getting set to serve.
Mason gets it over. Corson goes to set back. Wow. What some height. Lances do get a block in Cannon, but isn't able to arc it back in play.
That was a big block, but it was well out. So it will be a point for the Panthers. 18-15 now for the home side. New players coming into the game.
Liam Nkoji going to be one of the service specialists for the Panthers. And they credit it to the Panthers.
Yeah, that was definitely in. That was a big serve. Couple Lancers standing around probably want that one back. We'll see what he can do now.
Very close call on that side. This was able to pinpoint the corner. And I feel like we don't see too many spin serves coming in off the bench, but able to get that one through. Goes straight back to the side of the Panthers. Corson, since Brian has to really reach for it, but gets it over the block as Diefenbach hits the floor trying to get to it.
Yeah, that was beautiful by Cal O'Brien. Just put it in the exact right place. So it'll be a 1-point lead and a timeout for the home side.
Nkoji coming in as a service specialist. Continues the run following the timeout. Gets it over to Blayson. Brady Guzman gets it to Hill. Hill just taps it over. Brian Corson does a set back, gets some height. Sylvester plays it absolutely perfectly. And then Hill puts it into the net.
Just like that, all tied up.
And crazy good first touch there from Sylvester. But unfortunately for him, point going the way of Canadore. Continuing the service run. And counted as an ace.
And Nkoji going on quite the run serving.
Sylvester. Brady Guzman up to Diefenbach. Knows that block's there. They do get a hand on it. Able to play it. Sylvester just needs to get it over. Does so. Off from Mallerby on the backside. And just a swing and kill from Conrad Sedlick.
Wow, quite the change in momentum after that timeout.
And even before really that serve substitution, I think Loyalist has struggled. Counted as another ace. Oh my.
That was just in there.
We'll see another timeout coming from Chris Jenkins and the Lancers as they're falling a little bit flat from a crazy service substitution of all things. Lynch is really needing a good first touch and to set something up to put a stop to this run.
Yeah, they got to stop this guy, Nakoji, out of Constance Lake, Ontario. They got to get this guy off the floor because he's been an absolute problem since checking into the game.
Serves over Blakeson, able to get that first touch. Going to be up for Diefenbach. And Nakoji plays it perfectly to Bag. Bag tries to spin it to the side. Lynch is going to play it there. Corsten with the big block against Hill. Now it's Diefenbach from the back. Goes off. Bryant of Canadore's looking for a forward touch on the side of Loyalist. And the up ref says no on that call. So as you said, they needed Nakoji out of the game. And there's that substitution. It's going to be Halen Eddles checking back in. But again, wild run from Nakoji at the line. Here's Cannon. Gonna be Corson to Bryant, and Bryant just getting that height over the block.
There's a bit of a switch that turn. The Canadore's just been kind of outclassing Loyalist as of late. And now it is Corsten's time to serve.
Blakeson, Bray to Guzman, over to Hill. Wow. Big time block from Sean Mallerby.
Yeah, wow, they are rolling right now, the Canadore Panthers.
Again, if this set does close out with this scoreline, curious if we go into the second set with Chris Jenkins making any substitutions. Again, Loyalist bench is quite strong, but yesterday didn't really use it at all. As counted as an ace for Corsten as they're at set point.
Yeah, just like that, it's set point for the Canadore Panthers.
I'm gonna mess.
Bailed out there on the bad serve. Loyalist will get another chance. They got to score 5 in a row, though. Sorry, 6. Oh.
And Carl Poirier to Guzman misses the serve to give the Panthers the first set of the match. Going to set 2 in a moment. See you then. Doesn't look like any substitutions for either teams as we start the second set between the Canadore Panthers and the hometown Loyalist Lancers. My name's Steven Schill alongside John Ostrowski. Thank you for spending your Sunday here with us. And if you joined us yesterday, you got to see some great volleyball action. And again, here today, Loyalist not looking to lose 2 in a row at home. Need to have something big as we see the Panthers setter, Corsten, with the serve. Blakeston. Burrell to Guzman, goes to Hill, and there we go. Starts it off with a kill.
Nobody home there for the Canadore Panthers. Fell right in the middle of the floor there.
Bray to Guzman. Off from. Needing some help. It's going to be Blakeston. Sylvester just needs to dump it over. Going to be on that first touch from Sedlick. Hills gets the swing on as Hill tries to answer, but the block is there from Edel. So one swing that was good and then a block followed up by number 15. Bag. Blakeston just barely misses the roof. Diefenbach is there. It goes off a tip, but it was down anyway.
There you go. Lancers taking the lead after that one.
Hill. Bag. Corson sets up behind him. Mallerby gets some height on it, but the referee is going to call a net violation against the Lancers. The down ref does, I believe.
Unlucky break for the home side there.
Edels. Hill. Brady Guzman sets up Blakeston, and wow, gets through the block and hands there of Bryant and Mallerby.
Made it look easy there, Blakeston.
Westerman counted as an ace.
That'll be well in.
Yeah, Sedlick looked at it and then just kind of ducked down, thinking that it was going to be out. Westerman gets it over to Sedlick on a first touch. Corson puts it up to Bago, gets some gnarly height. And no chance for Hill.
Yeah, it's back and forth already. No team really getting an edge on the other.
Yeah, and you almost kind of forget the crazy service run at the end there from Nikoji and Canadore, really making a huge push on the momentum front in that first set. The Loyalists sticking with it as Sylvester gets that first touch. Bray to Guzman to Cannon. Cannon tried to stay in the air as long as possible. Sylvester with another great dig. Then we see Blakeston. Mallory's there. Israel Stam. Now Sylvester. Sets Bray to Guzman. Goes to the back line and Hill, and wow, what a shot from Liam Hill!
That'll wake up the hometown crowd. Liam Hill with a massive kill.
Diefenbach puts it up. Bag takes it, almost touches the roof. Israel Stam turns into the setter. He's going to fight at the bottom of the net. Now it's Diefenbach. Nobody even tries to block for him, but great save from Israel Stam. And then the jumper up from Mallerby. That's the point over as the Loyalist block just isn't there.
That was a great point there for the Canadore Panthers.
Sedlick. Hill on the first touch. Bench goes scrambling. Cannon just barely gets it over. On the back, just absolutely fires it into the net is Sedlick.
He's not going anywhere there. And now it'll be Blakeston's turn to serve.
Blakeson can't get it over. Colette Bryant. Counted as an ace.
That was placed perfectly. No chance for the Loyalist player to get there.
Hill plays it last second. Looked like he was going to let that drop, but just kind of one-hand palms it. And a huge swing from Mallerby. And Blakeston struggling just a little bit here.
Way too much power on that one.
Hill. Brady Guzman to Diefenbach in the back line. Popped up. Torsten sets bag. Sylvester's there as usual. Blakeson realizes he needs to play it. Hill does get actually a really good swing on it. Brian sends it straight back. Brady Guzman goes up to Hill for a second time, but the block is ready and there from Corsten and Eddles.
That was a gritty point there from the Canadore Panthers. Wow, staying with it, multiple chances. They're going to be rewarded with a 2-point lead now in this second set.
Hill. Brady Guzman goes to Diefenbach behind him. Clean. Cannon with the serve and counted as an ace.
Yeah, it's all tied up at 8 now. Couple good serves in a row.
Katie gets a serve amongst all the screams. Corsten up to Baga. Lancers weren't able to make the block work. Well, I'll bring up the center we've mentioned so much throughout this series, Spencer Corsten. One of the third-year players for the Panthers. What's too much on the serve?
Yeah, that'll be well out. And it'll be tied up at 9 once again. Now it's the first-year player, Carol Poirier Guzman, his turn to serve.
Over as Uriel Stam on that first touch. Corsten pushes it all the way to the far side. Sylvester makes a diving effort. It's going to be Hill, puts it off the block, and they're there. Just to send it straight back.
Yeah, nobody there for the Loyalist Lancers.
Bag misses.
Now Liam Hill's turn to serve. Third-year player out of Stratford. He gets ready.
Israel Stam pops it up. It's going to be Corsten. The Lancers have the block there. But they're looking to touch it again, but the referee calls him on like a double touch. But I guess it's a 50-50 call, and the referee decided to play that. But again, I thought that went off the Canadore player. And that, so I don't think it was a double touch, but ultimately a referee decides. Diefenbach not happy about it. either way. Hill and Eddles. Hill. Brady Guzman. Back to Diefenbach. Trying to make up for that point a second ago and does just that.
Yeah, they get it right back there. Great job for the Loyalist Lancers to be able to get that point back. And now it'll be number 13, Westerman's turn to serve.
Westerman. Bag. Corson down the middle to Khalid Bryant. And puts it right in front of Perea de Guzman.
Now the Canadore Panthers will take the lead back, and Mallarby's turn to serve.
Diefenbach. Perea de Guzman to Cannon. Thought he got off the touch, but again, call's not going the way of Loyalist. Panthers pick up the point.
Yeah, 2-point lead. First one we've seen for either side in a while.
Mallarby.
The Lancers will get lucky on that one. It'll be a couple inches short, or a couple inches long, excuse me. And it will be a point for the Lancers. Getting within one now. It's Diefenbach's turn to serve.
Big on that first touch. Corson will fall him back. Ends up slinging that through to Mallarby.
Okay, now it's time for Conrad Seidlich, excuse me. And he is a fourth-year player. One of only two on this roster.
Sedlick.
Oh, that was close, but it goes away of the Lancers.
Blaiston puts the spinner serve a little bit forward. I thought he was going to end up struggling there, but does get it over, and ultimately Mason Bagg finishes it for the Panthers.
Yeah, Cannon not really able to get in front of it, and will be the serve for Colette Adams, who's had a pretty good first set. Been a little quiet the second set, but let's see what he can do here. Sorry, Colette Bryant, excuse me.
Blaiston puts it back to the side of the Panthers. Bagg's there to put it back. Head referee says that Perea de Guzman touched the net, I think. So they give the point to the Panthers.
Wow, that is controversial to say the least.
Bryant misses.
Loyalist will get the point back after the controversial call, and it's Simon Cannon's turn to serve here.
It's a good shot. Put up the bag. Hill is able to take that first touch. Perea de Guzman back to Blaiston. Lee Corson put it up for Eddles, and ultimately too strong.
It'll be a point. Lancers now within one again.
Cannon aces it.
That's definitely in. That is definitely in. Now we're all tied up.
Cannon wasn't getting the same luck that time around.
Oh, that was close, but it was the right call indeed.
Blaiston, Perea de Guzman to Westerman, quick little flip. Said look on a first touch that nobody else can play.
Could have been dangerous as 11. Israel Stam was running into that doorway there, but luckily is fine. So we'll be tied at 17 after that one. And it is Poirier de Guzman, first-year player. He's out of Kingston.
A bit of a floater spin on that. Corson sets it up to Bag. And wow, paints the back corner.
That was beautiful. That was put in the absolute right spot.
Sylvester. It's up to Hill. Hear that crack a mile away, but wow, Corson's able to play it. Needs some help. And just a nice little touch over Sedlick. Not even with any might, just getting the right position.
2-point lead now for the visiting Canadore Panthers.
Hill. Brady Guzman up for Diefenbach. Finds the open floor behind Corsten.
Now it is Liam Hill's turn to serve.
A little bit of a collision, counted as an ace.
Tied once again, wow.
Back-to-back aces for Liam Hill.
There you go, Lancers taking their first lead in a while.
Westerman sends it straight back to the side of the Panthers. And Westerman again is there for the block against Mallerby. And we'll see a timeout as the Panthers suddenly trailing. Lancers ahead, 21-19. Hill. Timeout. Ends up working in the favor of Mark Hopper. Who's in his 14th year as a coach. Chris Jenkins is 1 year behind him on the side of Loyalist. We're seeing the arch nemesis of the Lancers, Liam Nakoji, coming in, who had, again, that crazy service run in the first set. Let's see if he can repeat it here. Sylvester. Brady Guzman, the Diefenbach.
Oh!
Block is there from Bryant.
And Nkoji will get to go again. Not what you want if you're on the side of the Lancers.
Sylvester. Brady Guzman at the Westerman, off the block, and it's good.
Yeah, you'll take that.
Looks like we might have a serving substitution come in here. We'll see Liam Callahan come in. We're also going to see a substitution on the side of the Panthers. Nkoji coming out, I believe. I think there's a little bit of confusion. On the same side, the Lancers were doing the substitution. Panthers were as well, but the referee didn't like the way they did it or something. I have no idea. But Callahan off the bench to serve. Gets it through. Israel Stam. Corson runs up on that far side to Sedlick, and they get it.
That'll hit the wall nearest the benches, and it will be a serve for Sean Mallerby.
And Callahan coming out for Westerman immediately after that. Coach Jenkins just wanted him in for the serve. Mallerby, Sylvester. Prey to Guzman, goes up to Cannon. Israel Stam plays it immaculately. A fight at the bottom of the net. Blaiston puts it back. Now they're trying to set Bryant's there.
Wow, Khalid Bryant, what a hit on the ball there.
We'll see a timeout on the floor from the Loyalist Lancers as they trail by 1. Loyalist really not wanting to fall behind here. Potentially going down 2-0 with Canadore. Continue with this lead. Diefenbach, Parade to Guzman. Lives up to Diefenbach. There's a block there. It goes off the head of Cannon. Cannon tries playing it like a soccer ball. But just nobody able to really assist.
Yeah, that's tough for the Lancers, controlling a lot of this set. Now they're at match point for the Canadore Panthers, so they need to score 2 in a row to stay alive.
All up to Sean Mallerby. They get it over and let Loyalist decide its own fate. Sylvester, Parade to Guzman. He's up the hill in the back, and the block is there from Bryant. Wow, what a game from Khalid Bryant as they take the second set 25-22. We'll be back with third set action momentarily.
And welcome back, Lancer fans. John Ostrowski will be joined momentarily by Steve Schill. We're getting ready for this second set, down 0-2 after a hard-fought battle. And Carol de Guzman, that's not where he wanted that serve to go. 0-1 now, and Lancers taking an early deficit. So they get ready to serve. It is Mason Begg. He gets set. And that is well wide. Tied up at 1 now. And Liam Hill gets set to serve. Of course, women losing 3-1 against Canadore earlier today in a hard-fought battle here at the Lancerdome. And a big kill by number 17, Sean Mallerby, 6'8", outside hitter from Cochrane as Bryant comes back into the game.
Nettles. Hill on the first touch. Sylvester slowly plays it. They bounce over. Bryant sets it for Corson. Bryant again, really having to reach for it. Loyalist with an opportunity. Diefenbach knows the block's there. Wow, just paints the corner.
Wow, I didn't think that was going to stay in, but I guess it did. Wow, that's a good job by Diefenbach to get it in there.
Westerman. Israel Stam to Corson. Back behind him, and Mallerby. Whoa, Hill topples over. Westerman, everybody's okay. Thank goodness. Sheesh.
That could have been dangerous, taking a knee to the back of the head. Luckily, that didn't happen. Wow, that's scary scenes there, but popped up right away. And the worst thing that happened there was losing a point. Now you're down 3-2 in this third set.
Mallerby gets it over. Hill on that first touch again. Parade to Guzman, over to Callahan. Again, starting this third set, Coach Jenkins wants something a little bit different from his boys. And there's Callahan. Israel Stam. Good touch, but comes off a little bit too heavy and just grazes the rafters.
It's the short roof kind of hurting Israel Stam there, and it'll be tied up at 3 again. Now it's Diefenbach, his turn to serve. He has a very powerful serve.
Silver bag on that first touch. Corson going to set up the man behind him that puts it away in Sean Mallerby.
There you go. Canadore retaking the lead. They've been great this year so far, coming out to a 5-2 start. Some impressive wins against Centennial, George Brown, only losing to Seneca and Georgian. And here comes number 5, Seidlich, with the serve.
And Seidlich, one of the more veteran players, as he comes through with an ace. Sylvester usually able to handle whatever's thrown at him. But good serve from Seidlich.
Too much power on that one.
Ball's over and good. Callahan on the first touch. Cannon tries swinging, but Bryant is there with another wall.
There you go, 3-point lead now, and just hit him in the arm there, and it will be Seidlich, his turn to serve once again.
Heavy serve, counted as an ace.
7-3 now, 4-point lead, one of the biggest ones of the afternoon in any set.
We'll see a timeout on the floor. Also, I think Hill's arguing some about the serve, because immediately after he hit that, like even before it hit the roof, kind of looked at the referee and said, what? So see if we find anything about it. But again, timeout on the floor. Lancers trail 7-3 in the third set. Needing to put a stop to the damage is Loyalist here. Chris Jenkins makes the timeout. Hoping to get his boy set or freeze the server. And the serve freeze works out.
There you go. That's worked a number of times for both sides. And it'll be Liam Callahan, number 6 for the Loyalist Lancers, getting set to serve. 3-point lead in this third set, possibly decisive set.
Callahan gets serve over. Israel Stam. It's up to Baga. Big block on the side of the Lancers, but they can't keep it in play. Point Canadore.
That'll be way out of play, but good job by Canadore to control the ball there. And Bryant gets set to serve.
Gets it over. Callahan goes jumping for it. Now it's Hill. And they're going to say that there was a violation of an out of bounds on the side of Loyalist.
Yeah, it'll be 9-4 now.
Sylvester. Parade to Guzman. Sets up Hill, and Hill went at that with some emphasis.
Yeah, that's huge from Hill there.
Cannon. Corson puts it up the bag. Goes off the Lancers block. There's a second tip in there. They're needing to get it over on this one. Does so. Corson quickly sets up Eddles, and it works.
Now a bit of a commanding lead here, at least relative to the rest of the game. Canadore Panthers able to gain some momentum here.
Corson gets a serve. Callahan, first touch. Brady Guzman to Westerman. Wow. Good dive as Baga tips it off the block, but again, give credit where credit is due to Conrad Sedlick, making that dive in the backfield to keep the play alive.
Yeah, it'll get tipped off the Loyalist player there.
Callahan, a parade to Guzman, to Diefenbach. Diefenbach, wow, what a serve. And Israel Stamp just keeps getting affected by that Raptor. Is able to play it in any other arena, stadium, floor, court. It'd probably be completely fine with the Lancer Dome, proving why it's called the Dome.
Yeah, getting a break there as Poirier de Guzman gets the serve.
Silver and good. Now Bag having to lean back a little bit. Not getting full might, but Lancer's turn now as Hill sends it into the net.
There you go, regaining that point right away as Bag gets set to serve.
Sylvester, parade to Guzman. Just straight up to Westerman, and there we go, quick and simple. And again, I think I kind of want to see a little bit more of Westerman. I felt like last season I ended up getting a fair bit more usage, and this time, obviously, when you have Hill and Diefenbach on your roster, obviously you want to have them as options, but I feel like Westerman has continually been a pretty solid option when given the opportunity as Hill nets it.
13-7 now for the visiting Canadore Panthers. Oh, and here comes Nkojian again. He's been definitely a star on his crazy, powerful serves.
Koji puts it up, left hand's over, just tips the net. Sylvester sticks out his right arm, gets it. Hill setting up Callahan, and the block is there.
Huge play now for the visitors. 14-7 for the Panthers. They keep Nkoji at that serving line.
Sylvester. Brady Guzman sets up Diefenbach, and Diefenbach finds the opening.
There you go on the big kill by Diefenbach, having one heck of a game. And Westerman gets set to serve. 6'5", third-year player from Sterling.
Nikoji comes back out for Edels. It'd be very weird to have such a thing where you're always coming in on the service line but not able to be kept out there from Coach Mark Hopper. Off up from Brian, bag in the backcourt, goes off Cannon's block, but twists awkwardly to the side, and there's no opportunity for his teammate to help.
15-8 now, just 10 points away from putting a stamp on this one is the Canadore Panthers.
Mallory misses.
Now Diefenbach's turn to serve.
Bag on the first touch. Corson sets it up back to Bag. It was looking like he was going to swing on it, but realized that he couldn't, so just taps it over. And Callahan is able to swing all right through that set.
Good job by Callahan.
Diefenbach. Pumped up from Bag. Corson sets Bryant. Doesn't miss.
Yeah, he's had one heck of an afternoon, Khaled Bryant. 100 times out of 100, and the Lancers are caught kind of ball watching there.
Settling. Hill. Pray to Guzman. And Cannon gets it. What a shot.
There you go. Big play for the home side, and now Callahan gets set to serve this afternoon. 16-11 for the visitors. Canadore Panthers up 2-0 in sets. They need 9 points to end this one.
Bag. Corsten goes off the tipping hands, and Mallerby, that's the point.
That was a powerful kill there by number 17, Mallerby. And now, not Adams, Bryant gets to serve again. And there it is on the ace for Bryant, number 2. And like I said earlier, he's having one heck of a game.
Just struggles on that lob up to himself and can't find the right angle. That was counted as an error.
Cannon also a strong server.
Bag. Torsten. Up to Mallerby, and the block is there from Hill and Westerman.
And they needed that for momentum's sake, that's for sure. The home crowd comes alive. They're still down by 5, but that's a big one. And Cannon back on the serving line.
Cannon aces it. Wow.
That just stayed in.
We'll see a timeout on the floor from Mark Hopper. And the Canadore Panthers, Lancers trail by 4. Off the timeout from the Canadore Panthers, Simon Cannon with the serve. Torsten puts down the middle to Eddles.
Oh, that was close.
Panthers get that point again. Very close. To the end of this one as Callahan goes off that front block. And they're going to give the point, saying that it was out of bounds. Not sure if it hit that net pole. But Corsten, Sylvester, Brady Guzman, to Hill. Was off the tip, having to play. Going to be Bag. Goes with his left hand. Now second opportunity. Corsten sets him up. Callahan, far side to Hill. Wow! Gets over the block and gets the back corner. What a shot from Liam Hill.
Great job by the Lancers. Great job. Able to keep the momentum somewhat on their side, now down by 5.
Off the netting. Settle on that first touchdown. It's Bag, and he gets the kill.
That was beautiful. Got up there and just put it exactly where it needed to go. Now they're 4 away.
Callahan, Parade to Guzman. Up to Diefenbach. And the block gets put out of bounds, so Lancers Jim falls quiet for Hill's serve. And misses. Eddles. Hill, Parade to Guzman. Puts it up for Diefenbach. And the block is there from Bryant.
Two away now.
Eddles, Hill, Brady Guzman in the set. There's Westerman, but there's Bryant again. Wow.
Wow, they're 1 point away. Match point here.
Sylvester. Brady Guzman up to Diefenbach. Puts an arc on it. They count it in. Close call. Well, they're not going to contest it. It's now Westerman and the Lancers need to play all these next points absolutely perfectly. Westerman. And they count the serve out. Wow, that looked incredibly close to potentially being in. But either way, quite a lead here in the third and final sweat. The Canadore Panthers complete the sweep, taking that one at 25-17 to recap. They won the first set 25-20, then the second one at 25-22. The Lancers fall just a bit short as they go to 4-4 on the season. Canadore up to 6-2. Thank you so much for spending your weekend with us. My name is Stephen Chill alongside John Ostrowski, and we will see you for some basketball action coming up next. We'd love for you to subscribe to the channel and enjoy the rest of your weekend.